Hey man, there's a moment every woman dreads, a moment she never prepares for, a moment she always assumes will never actually come. It's when she looks at you and realizes you're not the same man she once knew. Not angry, not bitter, not chasing, not broken, just at peace, and that hits her deeper than any silence, any distance, any no contact ever could. Because peace means you didn't just get over her, you outgrew the version of yourself that needed her. Peace means you aren't carrying the weight she once put on your shoulders. Peace means you've forgiven the things she expected you to hold on to. And that emotional shift does something to her. She'll never admit out loud. It makes her feel replaced not by another woman, but by your growth. When she sees you peaceful, the first thing she feels is confusion. Not the "I don't understand him" type, but the kind that shakes her sense of identity. Because she expected you to be stuck. She expected you to still feel hurt. She expected your life to revolve around the emotional impact she left behind. But peace means her influence faded. Peace means her absence didn't destroy you. Peace means you rebuilt yourself without using her as fuel. And that rattles her more than any new relationship ever could. Because anger still means you care. Distance still means you feel something. But peace means she no longer has emotional power over you. Then comes the sting, that quiet, sharp feeling in her chest that shows up when she sees you smiling, naturally, laughing with ease, living your life without tension. It's not jealousy in the typical sense. It's not even regret. It's something deeper. The realization that she didn't break you the way she thought she did. She expected her leaving to leave a permanent mark. But when she sees you calm, patient, centered, it forces her to accept a truth she never considered. You were stronger than she believed. You weren't dependent on her for emotional stability. You weren't destroyed. You weren't waiting to be fixed. And the man who survives heartbreak without bitterness becomes a man she can't stop thinking about. As your peace grows, she starts feeling something she can't explain. A tension, a heaviness, a quiet discomfort that follows her around. It's the emotional weight of seeing a man she once controlled, now completely unaffected by her existence. She scrolls past your picture and feels that silent pull. She hears your name and feels her stomach drop for half a second. She notices your glow up and feels something tighten inside her. Not because she wants you back, but because she realizes she can't go back to the version of you she once had. Your peace created a distance she can't cross without confronting the part of herself she avoided. All this time, that's when the comparisons begin. She looks at the man you were and the man you've become. Before, you were available, you were predictable, you were emotionally accessible. But now, you're calm, you're selective, you're focused on your purpose. You're not reacting to everything she once did to get a rise out of you. Your peace becomes a boundary. She feels it, she sees it, she fears it, because she knows that a peaceful man doesn't return to chaos, and she sees you drifting further and further away from the version of yourself she knew how to manipulate. As she watches you grow, she feels a mixture of admiration and regret, but she hides it under a cold exterior. On the outside, she'll act unfazed, she'll act independent, she'll act like she's moved on, but inside, she feels like she's losing a connection she didn't value when it was hers. Your peace becomes a reminder of everything she mishandled. She sees you stable and realizes she walked away from something real. Not perfect, but real. Something grounded, something genuine, something she won't find easily again. And that thought sits in her mind like a quiet truth she tries not to face. Your peaceful energy also exposes her emotional immaturity. She sees you detached and realizes how emotionally reactive she used to be. She sees you calm and recognizes how chaotic she made things. She sees you grounded and remembers how often she tested your patience. Peace doesn't just reflect growth, it reflects contrast. It shows the difference between the man who evolved and the woman who stayed the same. And that contrast makes her feel small in ways she can't articulate. She doesn't envy your progress. She envies the version of herself she could have become if she had stayed and grown with you. Peaceful distance triggers something deep in her psyche. Accountability, not the kind she admits publicly, but the kind that shows up at night when she's lying awake. She thinks about the times she dismissed you, the moments she acted cold, the times she took your effort for granted, the ways she made you feel unseen. Your peace doesn't erase those memories for her, it amplifies them, because before she could justify her behavior by telling herself you were emotionally attached. But now she sees the truth. You were committed, not weak. You were loving, not dependent. And losing a man like that is a lesson that leaves a mark. Then comes the fear, not fear of losing you, because in her mind, she already did. It's the fear that you replace the emotional space she once occupied with something healthier, something bigger, something more aligned with who you're becoming. She fears that your peace came from outgrowing the chaos she brought into your life. She fears seeing you with someone who doesn't drain you, someone who respects you, someone who brings harmony instead of confusion. That fear doesn't appear loudly. It shows up quietly, through thoughts she denies, through moments of jealousy she suppresses, through flashes of insecurity she hides. But it's there, and it grows every time she sees you thriving without her. And finally, the truth she never expected to face settles in. She didn't lose you because you weren't enough. She lost you because she wasn't ready for a man who finds peace within himself. She wasn't prepared for someone who doesn't crumble under emotional pressure. She didn't recognize the value of a man who heals instead of hating. She never imagined that the version of you who rises after heartbreak would be the version she would think about the most. And when she sees you moving on peacefully, she feels the emotional weight of knowing that she didn't just lose a relationship, she lost access to a world of stability she didn't know how to enter. When she sees you at peace, something inside her starts to unravel quietly, not in a dramatic breakdown, but in subtle emotional cracks she can't hide from herself. She notices that the version of you she sees now isn't carrying wounds. You're not posting bitter quotes. You're not seeking attention. You're not announcing how much you've changed. You're simply living, and that unsettles her in a way she never expected, because a peaceful man is unpredictable. He's not driven by pain. He's not reacting to her absence. He's not trying to prove anything. And when she sees that calm glow in your eyes, the one that doesn't need her validation, she realizes she no longer has the emotional influence she once used without thinking. That loss of influence stays with her like a quiet ache. What shakes her even more is the simplicity of your energy now. You're not trying to show off. You're not pretending to be happy. You're simply aligned, grounded, present, and women can feel that immediately, even from a distance. They sense when a man is faking strength, and they sense when a man has actually grown. Your peace shows her the difference. It forces her to see that you healed in a way she didn't expect. It forces her to confront that she wasn't the emotional center of your universe, and that realization disrupts the image she had of herself, because she thought she'd always remain a chapter in your mind, not a lesson, not a memory, not something you moved through, but someone you'd hold on to. Seeing you peaceful challenges that belief completely. She also begins to feel something rare, respect, not the respect she shows openly, but the quiet respect a woman feels when she realizes a man refuses to crumble, when she sees strength that doesn't need noise, when she sees stability that doesn't need validation. She respected you before, but not like this. Back then, she respected your effort, your kindness, your patience. Now she respects your discipline, your detachment, your emotional control. She respects the way you handled the ending without childish reactions. She respects how you carried yourself through the healing. She respects the man who emerged on the other side. That respect doesn't make her reach out, but it does make her think. And the more she thinks, the more she feels the sting of letting go of someone she didn't fully understand until it was too late. Your peace also forces her to confront her own instability. She starts noticing how often she gets triggered by small things, how frequently she feels restless, how easily she gets irritated. She watches you live with clarity and realizes she still lives with emotional noise, and she begins to ask herself, why didn't I have this kind of peace with him? The answer hurts, because she wasn't ready for someone stable. She wasn't prepared for a relationship with a man who knew who he was. She projected her uncertainties onto you. She mistook your effort for neediness. She confused your loyalty with weakness. And now that she sees the truth clearly, she feels an emotional discomfort she didn't expect. The discomfort of knowing she mishandled something rare. As she observes your peaceful presence, she can't help but feel the contrast between how she left and how you rose. She left thinking you'd struggle. She left believing you'd take months to rebuild. She assumed you'd be angry, confused, or emotionally stuck. Instead, she sees you calm, strong, stable, emotionally mature. And this creates an unexpected feeling in her, a sense of distance she didn't choose but now has to live with. Because your peace didn't just change how you live, it changed how she sees herself. She realizes she didn't leave you because you were the wrong man. She left because she wasn't capable of matching the version of you that exists now. There's another emotion that creeps in slowly, curiosity. She starts wondering what changed inside you. She wonders how you healed so deeply. She wonders who helped you grow. She wonders what habits, routines, or experiences shaped a new version she barely recognizes, and curiosity becomes a subtle emotional pull, not because she wants to interrupt your journey, but because she feels disconnected from the transformation she once hoped she'd witness up close. She sees you living with direction, clarity, confidence, and she begins to feel left out of a story she thought she'd always be part of. Peace also has a strange way of exposing everything she avoided dealing with. She sees you grounded and realizes she still carries unresolved emotions from your relationship. She sees you healed and realizes she hasn't healed from her own past. She sees you moving forward and realizes she's been standing in the same emotional place for far too long. Your peace becomes a mirror, one that reflects not just who you've become, but who she hasn't. She starts noticing her own patterns, her own insecurities, her own emotional immaturity. And though she won't say it, your growth becomes the catalyst for her reflection. As time goes by, she starts feeling a subtle sadness she didn't expect. Not because she wants the relationship back, but because she realizes she'll never experience this version of you. She had the unfinished version, the evolving version, the man still trying to find his place in the world. But the version she sees now, the man with quiet confidence, the man with direction, the man who mastered emotional detachment, that version no longer belongs to her story, and that understanding creates a heavy emotional truth. She didn't lose you at your worst, she lost you right before your best. She may try to convince herself that she's happy for you, and to some extent she is, but beneath that, there's a deeper emotion she can't swallow, the feeling that she's now a past chapter in the life of a man who is becoming everything she once imagined you could be. She thought she'd witness your transformation. She thought she'd be part of your success. She thought your growth would grow alongside hers, but instead, she sees your evolution from the outside, distant, quiet, untouchable. And it makes her realize that no matter what happens next, she'll never reclaim the emotional space she once held. And here's the truth she carries quietly. Seeing you peaceful doesn't just make her admire you, it makes her question herself. She begins wondering why she couldn't match the energy you have now. She wonders why she pushed away the very thing she now realizes she needed. She wonders what her life would have looked like if she had stayed patient instead of impulsive. And with every thought, she feels the emotional distance between who you were and who you've become. That distance becomes the silent force that keeps her thinking about you long after everyone assumes she's moved on. Your peace isn't just healing you, it's echoing through her consciousness, reminding her of the man she didn't fully appreciate until she watched him walk into his next chapter without looking back. As more time passes, she starts noticing something she can't put into words. Your peace has a presence. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it's not dramatic, but it's there. It's in the way you walk now, as if the weight you once carried has finally fallen off. It's in the way you talk, slower, sharper, clearer. It's in the decisions you make, intentional, stable, unapologetically yours. And when she sees this, she feels a quiet tension inside her chest, because this version of you isn't the man she left behind. This version of you looks like someone who doesn't need emotional validation, who doesn't chase temporary attention, who doesn't crumble under pressure. And the more peaceful you become, the more she realizes she never actually knew the man you were capable of becoming. Your peaceful energy also creates a strange emotional contrast for her. She thought letting you go would create distance, but instead, it created depth. Not in the relationship, but in her feelings. She watches you from afar and feels the difference in your energy. You're no longer emotionally tangled with her. You're no longer burdened by what happened. Your silence doesn't feel wounded anymore, it feels earned. And that contrast makes her feel unexpectedly exposed, because she's still carrying the emotional residue of the relationship while you've already processed it. You've grown, she hasn't. And now your peace becomes the reminder of that emotional imbalance she's trying desperately to ignore. Seeing you peaceful also triggers a subtle insecurity. She hides from everyone. The fear that you became a better man after she left. Not during, not with her, not because of her, but after. Women want to feel like they were part of your evolution. They want to feel like they inspired your growth or helped shape your discipline. But when she sees you thriving without her, she faces a truth that stings deeply. She wasn't part of the journey that led to your transformation. She didn't witness your healing. She didn't contribute to your rise. And that emotional distance makes her feel irrelevant in your story. A feeling no woman likes to confront. There's a particular moment that hits her hardest, when she sees you smile from a place of genuine peace, not forced happiness. That smile tells her everything she didn't want to accept. It tells her that you've let go of the resentment. It tells her that you're no longer angry. It tells her that your heart has settled into a place she can't reach anymore. And that realization feels like an emotional bruise she can't soothe. Because as long as you were hurting, she still felt connected to the narrative. As long as you were healing, she still felt part of the story. But peaceful happiness, that final stage of moving on, that's the moment she knows she truly lost you. With time, her thoughts start shifting in ways she didn't intend. She begins comparing the man she sees now with the man she remembers. Before, you were emotionally raw, open, and vulnerable with her. She didn't value that version. But this new version, steady, confident, grounded, is the version she secretly always wished you'd become. And the irony hits her hard. You became the man she wanted, but only after she walked away. This realization sits in her chest like a quiet ache, because she doesn't just miss you, she misses the potential she'll never experience again. Your peaceful presence also challenges her self-image. She always saw herself as independent, self-assured, emotionally intelligent, but when she sees how gracefully you moved on, she questions those beliefs. She starts wondering why she's still emotionally reactive while you're composed, why she feels a quiet emptiness while you seem fulfilled, why she's still watching while you're rebuilding. And suddenly, the narrative she told herself, that she was the one who knew better, who handled things maturely, no longer feels true. Your emotional evolution forces her to confront parts of herself she never had to look at before. She may try to distract herself, dating someone new, keeping herself busy, chasing temporary highs, but it never fully works, because peace is not something you fake. Peace is something you earn. And when she sees the peace you earned, it makes the noise in her own life stand out even louder. She compares the stability you show with the instability she keeps trying to bury. She compares the calmness in your voice with the restlessness in her own thoughts. She compares the maturity of your growth with the emotional avoidance she's still practicing. And even though she won't say it, your peace becomes a standard she never expected to miss. The more you glow, the more she starts thinking about the moments she mishandled, the time she dismissed your feelings, ignored your effort, or underestimated your loyalty. She doesn't frame these thoughts as guilt, but as reflection, because she finally sees how patient you were, how much you tried, how much you gave, and how little she understood the emotional weight you carried quietly. When she sees your peaceful life now, she realizes the truth. You weren't dramatic, you were exhausted. You weren't clingy, you were committed. You weren't insecure, you were trying to connect. And those realizations create a slow-burning regret. She tries to silence but can't. Eventually, she starts noticing how emotionally distant you've become. Not cold, just unreachable. You're polite but not attached, friendly but not invested, present but not available. And that emotional distance terrifies her far more than any argument ever did, because arguments meant there was still fire. Silence meant there was still hurt. But peace means closure. Peace means acceptance. Peace means you found something better than validation. You found your center. And she knows once a man finds that center, he never returns to the chaos he escaped. And here's the truth. She will never say out loud, the moment she sees you peaceful is the moment she realizes she'll never get the chance to see the full version of the man she once held. She becomes a spectator in your story, not a character. She becomes a memory in your journey, not a partner. She becomes part of your past, not your future. And as painful as that realization is, it teaches her the one lesson she didn't expect. Losing a man who finds peace isn't just losing a relationship, it's losing a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be with someone who chose growth over bitterness, healing over revenge, and evolution over ego. Once your peace becomes undeniable, she begins feeling something unexpected, a quiet jealousy that has nothing to do with other women and everything to do with your state of mind. She sees you centered, balanced, unbothered, and it sparks a discomfort she can't shake. Not because she wants to control you, but because she never imagined you'd reach a place where her presence or absence didn't shake your inner world. She realizes you're not performing peace, you're living it. And that kind of emotional stability is rare. It's magnetic, it's intimidating, it's the one thing she can't fake or force for herself. So when she sees you living in that calm, she feels the sting of realizing you mastered something. She's still struggling with self-control. Now she starts comparing her emotional landscape to yours. She sees you waking up with purpose, while she wakes up with a quiet emptiness she can't name. She sees you engaging with life fully, while she moves through her days with small moments of restlessness. She sees you building, focusing, elevating, while she still feels fragments of old emotions she never resolved. And that contrast doesn't just make her miss you, it makes her question her own growth, because peace reflects truth, and when she sees your truth, she becomes painfully aware of the emotional chaos she has yet to untangle. Your peaceful glow has another effect on her. It forces her to rethink the story she told herself about why things ended. When you were hurting, she could justify her decisions. When you were distant, she could blame your behavior. When you were trying too hard, she could frame you as the emotional one. But now your peace removes her ability to distort the narrative. She can no longer pretend you were the unstable one. She can no longer say she left for emotional clarity, because now you have the clarity she never achieved, and as much as she wants to deny it, your peace rewrites the entire story in her mind, and she's no longer the hero of it. This is when the self-reflection begins. Not the dramatic, journal writing, crying on the floor kind, but the slow, uncomfortable awareness that she didn't match the emotional maturity you grew into. She starts remembering situations she brushed off, moments she dismissed your feelings, times when she chose pride instead of vulnerability, and with a new version of you in front of her, strong, centered, detached, she feels the weight of those missteps, not because she wants to go back, but because she realizes she could have grown with you instead of away from you. Your peace shows her how far you climbed and how far behind she stayed. There's a moment where she sees you in a photo, in person, or even in her mind, and something inside her flips. She realizes she's looking at a man who no longer needs anything from her. Not comfort, not confirmation, not apology, not closure. And for a woman, that emotional independence hits harder than any new relationship ever could. Because the moment a man no longer needs anything from her is the moment she realizes she has nothing left to influence. She used to be part of your emotional rhythm. Now she's no longer part of your emotional world. And even if she acts indifferent, that shift lands deep. As your peace shapes your life, she starts feeling something even stronger than regret, curiosity mixed with longing. She wonders what your days look like now. She wonders if you still think about her sometimes. She wonders what made you glow differently. And that curiosity grows each time she sees you evolving without noise. She expected you to rebuild loudly, desperately, obviously. Instead, you chose the slow, disciplined path, the one that requires silence, self-reflection, and internal strength. And this quiet evolution draws her in because it shows her something she can't replicate in herself as easily: emotional mastery. Eventually, she starts feeling a sense of emotional distance she never consented to. Not the distance between two people, the distance between two realities. You're living in a world she no longer has access to, a world she once could have grown into with you. She sees you in your new pace, your new priorities, your new direction, and she feels like an outsider peeking into the life of someone she used to know intimately. And that's where the ache begins, not for the relationship, but for the access she no longer has. She sees the man she once overlooked becoming the man she never thought he'd become, and she sees it from the outside. There's also a subtle fear that creeps in, the fear that the peace you found didn't just replace the pain, it replaced her. Because a peaceful man doesn't wait, he doesn't chase, he doesn't hold on to what hurt him. He moves forward not to prove anything, but because peace demands space. And when she sees you thriving without her, she asks herself the question she never expected: was I ever the right match for the man he is now? And deep down, she knows the answer. She knows the man you've become would never tolerate the version of her from the past, and that truth humbles her more than heartbreak ever did. Now her thoughts shift from curiosity to longing, not for the relationship, but for the emotional presence you once gave her. She misses the way you listened, the way you cared, the way you made her feel understood. She realizes those qualities weren't weaknesses, they were foundations. And now that you've built your peace on those same foundations, she sees how wrong she was to take them lightly. Your peace becomes the proof that you weren't clingy, you were loyal, you weren't emotional, you were soft-hearted, you weren't weak, you were human. And watching you become stronger without losing that depth hits her harder than she ever expected. And here's the part she'll never admit: your peace makes her wish she had matched your growth instead of resisting it. She wishes she had been more patient. She wishes she had been more present. She wishes she had understood you instead of challenging you. Because now, seeing you grounded and whole, she realizes she didn't lose a partner. She lost the chance to walk beside a man who was destined to rise. Your peace becomes the quiet reminder that she wasn't ready for the love you were capable of giving. And even if she never reaches out, never confesses, never says a word, she carries that truth with her. Because losing a man who heals into his fullest self isn't something a woman forgets. It stays with her, silently shaping the way she sees every man after you. As your peace becomes your identity rather than a phase, she begins sensing something she never anticipated, the finality of it. She thought this calmness was temporary, a reaction, a rebound of emotional self-protection. But when days turn into weeks and weeks into months, she realizes the version of you she sees now isn't a performance, it's who you truly are. And that realization hits her with a subtle grief she can't express, because finality means she no longer has a role in your future. Finality means the chapter isn't waiting for her return. Finality means your story continued without her. And even though she may never say it, finality is the heaviest feeling a woman carries when she watches a man evolve beyond the place where she left him. This is when she starts feeling a loneliness she didn't expect. Not because she has no one around her. She might be dating, she might have options, she might have friends, but because none of those connections give her the emotional grounding she once got from you. The peace she sees in your life becomes a mirror to the unsettled parts of herself. She realizes that her connections feel temporary compared to the stability you once offered. Even the excitement of new experiences feels shallow when contrasted with the emotional depth she had with you. She thought she could move forward easily. She thought she could find someone better. But now she understands something she never admitted. Not every man has the energy you carried, and peace like yours is rare. As she processes this, she begins to develop an emotional curiosity about the inner world you built. She wonders what brought you this calmness. She wonders who helped you through the healing. She wonders if your life feels lighter without the emotional tension she once added. And these questions don't fade, they grow. Because your peace represents more than a healed heart. It represents discipline, reflection, resilience. It represents a man who didn't just survive heartbreak, he grew from it. And she starts feeling like she's looking at a completed puzzle she once left unfinished. That sense of completion draws her in, even if she never reaches out. Now, something deeper begins to surface, a sense of regret that goes beyond missing you. It's the regret of realizing she never saw your full potential. She saw the early version of you, the one still learning, still fighting internal battles, still discovering himself. That version made mistakes, struggled with emotions, cared too deeply. She didn't see the man who would rise from those struggles. She didn't witness the transformation. And now she feels like she walked away from something that hadn't yet shown its true value. That kind of regret stays with a woman far longer than heartbreak, because it's not about losing what she had, it's about losing what she could have had. Her thoughts start to revolve around a single realization. You did not become cold, you became self-sufficient. She always assumed you'd need her presence to feel whole. She believed you'd hold on to pieces of the relationship, even after it ended. But when she sees the strength you built within yourself, she feels both admiration and sadness. Admiration because she sees your growth clearly. Sadness because that independence means she is no longer part of your emotional equation. She understands that the peace you show isn't detachment, it's mastery. And mastery is something she knows she didn't nurture when she had the chance. At this stage, she begins replaying moments that once felt insignificant. The way you looked at her, the way you listened, the times you tried to understand her emotions, even when she didn't understand her own. She remembers moments of softness she brushed off, gestures of care she dismissed, and conversations she didn't take seriously. And now that she sees the man you've become, a man who gives that care to himself, who protects his peace with intention, she realizes how much she undervalued what you brought into her life. These reflections don't fade easily. They echo, they linger, and they make her see you through a clarity she never had before. Soon, her longing deepens, not necessarily for the relationship, but for redemption. She wishes she could show you a different version of herself. She wishes she could meet the man you are now with the woman she might have become. She wonders if things would have been different if she had matched your energy earlier, if she had grown alongside you instead of distancing herself. This longing isn't about getting you back. It's about wishing she had been ready for the version of you she sees today. And that emotional what if becomes a weight she carries silently. Your peace also makes her more introspective about her own patterns. She begins questioning why she reacted the way she did when you were together, why she couldn't communicate, why she withdrew when things felt too real, why she sabotaged something stable. And through these questions, she sees that you weren't the problem. Her emotional immaturity was. She realizes that the chaos she once blamed on you was actually her unresolved baggage, and while that clarity helps her grow, it also reinforces one painful truth. She learned this lesson too late. The man she's learning it for is no longer emotionally available. As your peace becomes your natural state, she begins to feel something she never felt during the relationship. Respect mixed with admiration. Not because she wants validation, but because she sees the strength it takes for a man to grow past pain without becoming bitter. She respects the discipline it took to rebuild yourself quietly. She admires the restraint it took not to react emotionally. She respects the patience you showed in healing. And these emotions twist into a bittersweet realization. The man she sees now is the man she would have fallen deeper for if she had the maturity back then. This kind of internal acknowledgement doesn't leave quickly. It settles into the core of her memory of you. And here's the truth she'll never say, but will always feel. When she sees you moving on peacefully, she realizes you didn't just move past the relationship, you moved past the version of yourself that needed her approval, affection, or presence. She understands she is no longer the reference point for your happiness, your identity, or your growth. And that understanding leaves a quiet, permanent imprint on her heart. Because a man who finds peace after heartbreak becomes unforgettable not because of the relationship, but because of the transformation. She may have walked away first, but you were the one who truly moved on, and that distinction is the memory she will carry for the rest of her life.